everybody. Headed out to the woods for a little overnighter here down. This time we're going to a new part of the forest I haven't been yet, and that's part of Morgan Monroe State Forest, which is a little north of Bloomington in Indiana. So we're going to follow the map all down there, including, you know, starting from leaving the barn and going the highway. Just finished up here at the barn this morning, so I'm gonna be headed down there where this P is. Okay, we're gonna be parking right there, and then this trail, this is the part of the low gap trail. That's where we're gonna be hitting, because if you see this cross-hatched area, that's called the backcountry area. And if you want to do quote-unquote backcountry camping, which is just going out in the woods and camping, not on like a campsite with picnic tables and water hookup and electric and all that stuff. But if you're trying to just go out in the woods, set up a tent, set your little, you know, thing up and do some leave no trace camping. In Morgan Monroe State Forest, you have to go back here to what's called the backcountry area. And you can see here, maybe, it says backcountry, okay? And that's this crosshatch area. There's also a nature preserve in there, and you're gonna wanna camp outside of the nature preserve. But, so we're gonna hop on this low gap trail, and it's about a 2-mile hike. And where it turns south here and becomes part of the Tecumseh Trail, where it comes south here, we're gonna find an area up around here. And in Morgan Monroe State Forest, if you're gonna do backcountry camping, or some people call it, what's the other word for it? Boondocking, you know, whatever. You need to email the park ranger ahead of time, and you can contact him by phone too. But so I just sent him an email. I said, this is when I'm going to be arriving. This is where I'm going to park, and I'm going to be camping around this area, and you know, around, I gave him the UTM coordinates on the map just because. But also, as a side note, most of us don't drink enough water. If you're heading out to the woods, I got a canteen here that I'm gonna drink. Make sure I have it all drank before I leave the trail. Just, you know, that morning, at least put a bottle of water, you know, down the hatch. Okay guys, we have made it here to our parking area, and we are right here. Okay, so basically all we got to do now is pick up. Now, there's a junction here of all these trails. So one thing we got to make sure, and this is why you bring your compass, one of the 10 C's, we're going to make sure that we are heading this east right at the beginning, and then cut southeast. So we should generally be seeing east on our compass as we're going. If we're seeing south or northeast or northwest, I'm sorry, then we're going the wrong way. So break out your compass. But basically what we're going to do is hike here, which looks to be about an inch is half a mile. So yeah, it's right at about 2 miles right here. We're going to camp around here somewhere. So yep, that's that. Now just one little pit stop before we hit the trail here. And we're off, everybody. Check, make sure we have everything. Like our actually, I think we left the map back in the car. We're definitely gonna need that. Okay, let's try that one again. We got our map. So yeah, comes the trail that way. This is Orcut Road. So maybe we're just gonna be on the road for a while. I don't know. So we've taken the jacket off when we hit the trail, and I'm a little chilly. It's probably, I want to say it's a little above freezing. So that's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna be hiking, so you wanna be a little chilly when you take off. Or you'll start sweating like crazy. So, all right guys, well, if you wanna learn how to stay warm in the winter, I'll tell you, here's the biggest secret. Here's how you stay warm in the winter. You move around, okay? Get out there, once you start hiking, once you start working, whatever, your body kind of takes care of itself. Our bodies are actually pretty good at regulating our temperature. You know, if you're trying to just constantly feel like you're sitting in a 72 degree, you know, lawn chair, then, you know, put a heater on your bedroom and get a lawn chair. That's all I can tell you there. Now, what I'm looking for in a campsite today, say today because sometimes it's different things. So my main thing is I need to have some good deadfall that'll work that I can cut to make my raised bed out of, because that's what I brought for my sleep system to keep me off the ground. I'm building a raised bed with my canvas bed sleeve. So we're going up a little hill here if I start sounding a little winded. But yeah, we're gonna be walking back in snow tomorrow. So we're gonna wanna set up a nice dry camp, nice camp that's gonna keep us dry, because it's probably gonna move in overnight. Should be coming up on this junction before long, and then we'll start looking for a campsite. So be back with you in a minute. Well guys, we're losing daylight, and I think this is gonna be our spot. I'm gonna throw up a ridge line between this tree and this tree. Got wind blowing this way, so it's perfect. We'll be, you know, we'll just do an A-frame. So we'll have that whole back wall blocking off the wind. We'll throw some dead sticks and pile up that crack at the bottom so no wind will be getting in there. Picked up a nice piece of timber along the way for making my raised bed with. So I'm gonna throw up the shelter here, and then I'm gonna throw up the shelter, get some firewood, and then get my raised bed built. And boom, look at that right there. So the W's wind, water. We can go down that hill and get water. Plus I have plenty of water with me. I'll just have to be a little source it. Plus it's gonna snow, so we can get water from that. Wind, we know which way the wind's coming, so we're setting up accordingly. Widowmakers. All these trees here look pretty healthy. No concerns. Okay. No concerns here. Nice little beech tree. Last time I camped next to a beech tree. Well, except this guy. So his days were numbered. But otherwise, I think we're pretty much good to go. I'll tell you another reason I picked this is there's no thorns here. Now, all that green that you guys might be able to see, there's just covered in thorns on this ridge line. I'll show you what I did to find a spot. Is I ended up coming, so remember we got our junction here, and you see this ridge right here? So I just kept walking until I could spot this ridge line, which is pretty easy to spot because it gets flat. And there's a shelter right there, so if things go really south, we can escape to this little shelter. Actually, we'll check that out tomorrow. Go on a little scout in the morning or something. But so I walked along this ridge line, pretty easy to follow, which means it's pretty easy to follow back. It's just all thorns. So I backtracked to some places that I thought were decent until I found this one, which doesn't have a whole bunch of thorns on it and is facing the way I need to and has all the wood I need to build what I need to and to burn. So I gotta get going, guys. We're losing daylight fast. Oh, nothing like getting that pack off. There's the bag all packed, by the way. And see how it is. Have the coat in there, which I'm actually about to throw on because it's really getting chilly. But just want to kind of show you guys what I'm rocking with here. Oh, and for securing this, you can see this lid just goes down to here. I just used a couple top line hitches. Okay. And I'll show you, so when I pack, I always put my shelter stuff last. So my stake bag with, this has my cordage, my ridge line, my stakes, a nice bright color. And the oilskin tarp is what we're rocking with today, but that's right on top. So I don't have to undo everything in my pack. Especially if it was raining right now, I wouldn't want to have to lay out half my pack just to set up a shelter. Well, especially not to set up a shelter. So that's that. So now we're going to throw up a ridge line between here and here, and just kind of get it going. Show you how we do that ridge line. So here we've got a bowline tied in the end of this, and then you feed. See, this goes through there, and just stick a stick in there for a toggle. Makes it easy to undo, for one. We have our pre-made prussiks already on there, so if we need those, we can use them. And in case you don't know what I'm talking about, a prussik is you can slide this where you want it, but when you pull on it, it doesn't go anywhere. So then down here, pretty standard trucker's hitch. Okay, with the leftover rope, you just take it, shove it right up in there. Leftover cordage keeps everything neat. Now we'll throw the tarp up here and have a shelter starting to have something that starts to look like a shelter. So when I'm putting up my shelter, I just take my stakes out and I'll put them in my back pocket so I can get them real easy. And also, if you need them, guy lines. I got 6-foot pieces of 550 cord, just daisy chained together. It just makes them easy to, it helps prevent them from getting all tangled up. Actually, before we throw the tarp on, we probably should have done this first. We need to clear everything out on the ground. So. Okay, there we go. We got our back wall of the shelter staked up. So we'll put this down like this, have ourselves a nice little shelter. On this back side, all right, so we'll kick a bunch of leaves up here. And there we go. That'll be sealed up pretty good. I'm telling you, no wind gets through this oilskin stuff. So that'll be good. Okay, so put us a fire pit right out here. And I'll show you one more thing I do kind of for an awning here in a minute. So we got out the saw and the hatchet. That's the next things that are easiest to get to in my pack. Are my saw and my hatchet. And next after that was probably the stove. If I ever get in a situation where I need to stop and I want to just drink some coffee. But brought this little folding saw with us today. This thing's actually a bit of a meat eater, or a wood eater. But in the old Collins hatchet, I've kind of just, I don't know why, I can't keep ending up taking this one with me. So I'm gonna get a couple poles cut to make a little awning so we can throw everything underneath something, and then I'm going to get some fire. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about with that awning is you just get yourself a stick like this. A nice heavy one is good, and you angle it back enough so it kind of jam it into the ground a little bit, but it'll pretty much just keep itself there. And this isn't how we're going to keep it overnight. This is just so when you get down in here and you know, we can throw our gear under there if any rain comes in, but we just have a space to kind of keep some stuff dry. So but at night we're going to obviously bring the whole thing down to the A-frame. Okay, we're going to change one thing up with our bed because I just don't feel like, I wish I had a little more time to build a raised bed, but I'm running short on time. I don't like doing things in a hurry. But this canvas sleeve doubles as a browse mattress. So all this is bagging leaves, okay? And that's literally all we do, is we just fill this thing up with leaves. We want it to be 4 to 6 inches at least compressed, okay? Honestly, the way to do this is just kind of a little bit at a time. If you try and rake it all into a big pile and then put a big pile in there, you get a bunch of sticks. And where a lot of these leaves underneath are wet, if you do it kind of by hand, you get the dry leaves in your bag, which is what you want, but a little wetness won't hurt anything. But that's all you do. You just keep filling that thing up until when you smash it down, it's about 4 to 6 inches thick, and it's a pretty good night's sleep. So I'm gonna get to doing that. It takes about 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. It's not really that bad. See how packed that is? Okay. That's non-compressed. That's about what it needs to look like. Let me stress to you, if you skimp on this, you're going to be the one paying the price, because you're not going to sleep well. It's not going to insulate you well. But this should do the trick fine. By the time this all kind of spreads out, we'll leave a little slack at the end, because it's got to have a little room so the thing doesn't burst at the seams. But we should be pretty good there. I'm going to be putting that down. I've got a little 5x5 tarp with me there. So I'll just put that down where I'm sleeping. Have a little bit hangover in front, so I just have a dry place to kind of set some stuff if I need to. And other than that, throw that there. We just tie the end of that closed, by the way. Got a string, a couple tie outs. We'll just kind of lace it closed, no big deal. Throw that down there. We got some firewood. Also, now that it's getting dark, sun's about down, kind of scout out where the firewood is, so you generally know. So if you have to get more, you don't have to wander around for it. You know, I know there's a good hunk back there, and I know there's a lot of this walnut that's falling around here, so I don't have to go far. But when it gets dark, you don't want to have to go far from camp. I've got my candle, which if I leave camp, I hang my candle up and I can easily see my camp from pretty far away. Because it's very easy to lose camp in the dark. So I kind of know where everything is. I've kind of got my setup here. And other than that, I'm just going to kind of get her unpacked and laid out. I like to kind of lay my bed stuff out, get everything I need out, my food, and have camp set up. So for the rest of the night, I just build fire, make food, and go to sleep. And I don't have to be, screwing around with stuff. When it's dark, I try to get everything organized so I know where stuff is. I've got a little tripod built, which is nice. So, you can have like kind of a centralized location for a lot of your gear, like say a mask for your axe. You can just hang your stuff there and kind of have a centralized point where you can also hang stuff and get it off the ground. So that being said, I'm going to set up camp, and probably next thing we'll do is get a fire going. I'll probably get one more, maybe 2 or 3 more trips. All right, everyone, that does it for part 1 of this video. I ended up making this a 3-part video because it was quite long. So check out part 2 where we get into the nighttime and we talk about firewood. We get our fire going, and then also cooking and cleaning your cookware. And then part 3, we'll go over our sleep system. We'll make some breakfast on the backpacking stove, and we will go over how to leave your campsite when you're done. So thanks for watching again, and check out part 2 and 3.